You're listening to the Ramblin' Matt Ramage podcast. Let's go!
What is up, everybody? I am here. Appreciate you tuning in. We got Corey Behnke, Cheesehead TV. What is up, my man? Thanks for joining me. I know you're a very busy guy.
It's Bears week. Come on, man.
Dude.
Who would I rather be with but you, bro?
It is
Bears week.
It is freaking Bears week. No, I was supposed to do a Bears podcast today. I'm doing it tomorrow. Dude, that is what I love about Bears fans. It's like I tweeted about this. I said Bears fans are so awesome that they asked, like, I've had a lot of Bears fans podcasts ask me to come on their shit because I just troll them so much, and they could take the joke. Like, they understand, like, this is a rivalry. No Viking fan has ever asked me to come on their podcast. They're
Also,
so
have
butthurt.
you seen their offense, dude? I'd be asking you on my show too.
But really, why wouldn't?
Come on,
if I'm a Vikings fan, dude, I would ask me to come on a podcast just because.
Oh, all day.
Just because they beat us and they have a little. I don't have a lot to talk because I would just keep mentioning the record, and they lost to the Cowboys, but they still have a little bit to flex. Like the Bears,
I don't. They don't. Cook? They got a Dalvin Cook flex.
Oh yeah, no, but that's what they got. That's
about it.
Yeah, dude, that is what bothered me about the Vikings game is that they have one player. They have one player, and that player beat us, and that's what hurt. But anyway, how are you doing? I don't want to talk about
You brought up the Vikings, bro.
I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I've been drinking.
I hear you. Well, it wouldn't be this podcast if you didn't drink. So, cheers to that.
Yeah, dude. Cheers to that. I gotta crack this beer. No, but
there you go.
That is. I think I'm at my best one. I did a sober podcast once. Nobody watched.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I listened. Did you watch the Pat McAfee show with QB1 Aaron Rodgers? I think everybody watched that today. Had a good time. Good time watching. I loved when he picked up the drink and he was like,
yeah, because
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that was
so
great.
Good.
You know what's funny? Because I was preparing for this podcast because I wasn't for sure it was going to happen.
Prepared?
Oh, wow. I was trying to, but then I watched clips all day at Pat McAfee show or whatever, like the main clips that Pat posts during his during the day. And then I was on YouTube looking, I was like, I'm preparing for this podcast. I'm writing little notes on my phone and shit. And then Pat McAfee's full interview. Aaron Rodgers well, I should probably click on this and see what happened. So I spent the half hour wasted watching watching that show. It was great. Like when he talked about his doing the no-look pass. And then Pat was like, oh, it's a good thing Pat Mahomes brought that in. He's like, yeah, no one's been doing that for years. And I know that people are going to hate on them. Aaron Rodgers was dissing Pat McAfee or Patrick Mahomes, but it wasn't because obviously they're friends. They do commercially. Yeah, but obviously people,
make that
quarterbacks have been doing that. Yeah, Brett Favre, he mentioned Brett Favre was doing it back in the day. And
he literally said he learned it from Favre. He said when he was asked, they were like, well, did you ever do that before? And he's like, no, I kind of started doing that when I saw Favre doing it. And that's kind of amazing. I mean,
dude, there's so much that people, all the talk about Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and their relationship back in the day and how he didn't teach him, but it doesn't matter because he taught him. Obviously Aaron Rodgers, because this is the thing that I always argue with people about Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. They're like, well, Brett Favre taught him everything he knows. He didn't teach him everything he knows. If I went to play quarterback and I was successful, which I wouldn't be, then whoever that quarterback would taught me everything I know because I know nothing right now. But Aaron Rodgers was good on his own. But he learned some shit, obviously.
He learned a ton of things. Yeah. Whether Favre wanted to teach him or not, right? Just Favre being Favre, just Favre being around. I mean, when you're around greatness, you learn stuff, I mean, shit. I hang out with Aaron Nagler, and sometimes I learn something about football.
But I'm sure he learned a little bit, too. No, because that's just what it is. Because I was talking about this the other day about Joey. Joey the Jaguar from the Underage Packers podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Big B. And I was talking to someone. I was like, "Oh, I did this podcast," and they're like, and I said he's 15 years old. Let me turn on his comments so I can see what people are saying. But I learned a lot from Joey the Jag. Dude, Joey, I think, is the most underrated podcast, and Big B too. But I've talked a lot.
Dude, I agree. The first time I was doing a Patreon, we were doing a Cheesehead TV Patreon Zoom happy hour, and it was the first time I met Joey, and Nagler literally was like, "Oh, Corey, Joey, that kid's legit. He's coming after us."
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, I was saying, I was like, first of all, I want to give a shout out to this comment. Call me out. Nice big ass. Yeah, I got the green screen. I'm working on some stuff over here. Get off me. No, but Joey he's really good, and Big B too. But like Big B's getting a lot of love lately, which he should, and I think he's great and beating the hell out of cancer. And shout out to Big B. But I think Joey deserves some love too, because I think he's awesome. I really do. I think he's here. He is now. He's tuning in. But Joey the Jaguar, he does a great job. Everyone, check out the Underage Packers podcast, dude. I guarantee you someday they're going to be doing some
over
big
the
things.
World. Yeah,
they're taking over the world.
I'll be dead, and they'll be like overlords.
Yeah, someday I'll be begging them to come on my podcast. They're like, nah, I'm busy.
Nah, bro. Wait, Matt who? Matt?
I don't even remember who you are. So let's talk about this Colts game here for a little bit. And then we'll move right on to the Bears, because I don't want to talk too much about this Colts game. But dude, I think for me, like, there is no what do they call those wins? I'm a little buzzed up here. You don't lose. What's that word? There's no I lost the word. It's gone. But
I hear you. You're asking the wrong person. It's just a plant, bro. It's just a plant. Yeah.
I do love that comment by Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. Plant. But like, if you lose, like, you can't take anything positive out of that. Anyone watching that knows what word I'm talking about, chime
Give
in.
him the word, people, so he can just move on with his life. He just needs to move on with his life. There you go.
There's no moral victories. All right. Shout out to the Drew Cave. That's the Drew Cave over here on Instagram. Follow him.
Dude, Drew Cave with that picture of you in the window, like looking over my shoulder, trying to get in my house. That was so good, dude.
That was
so good. He was like, "Let him in, bro. Let him in."
He's like, "Nah, COVID season."
Nah, COVID, bro.
No, but there is no moral victories, and I really believe that. Like, you don't lose a game, but there are some positives, because they played a really good team.
Ton of positives. I mean, yeah,
Aaron
Rodgers said it. Yep. You take the turnovers out. Sorry to interrupt you, but you take the turnovers away. There you go. Aaron Rodgers said they had a championship level practice the week before. Everybody was feeling good in the neighborhood. It's a tale of two halves, where you have this first half where the Packers kicked their ass. Like, it was a good game. It was a good game all around. And then the second half, they definitely adjusted and ran down our guts. And, everybody's whining about the run defense, but the defense held up, considering where the offense put them in and special teams put them in places that we just don't need to be in. I mean, the turnovers were the difference. And I don't know, the Colts are one of the best teams in the NFL. Like, I feel pretty good 2 days out, I feel pretty good about where we are.
And I do too. And it's funny because I was drunk that night, right? Sunday night, I was drunk. And I made a tweet, I think a Facebook post about it. And I said, don't just blame the defense. Like, did you see the offense in the first half? And people got mad. People were talking about, don't listen to him. He's just a cheesemaker. And like, first of all, I'm not a cheesemaker. I work at a cheese factory. I didn't get to that level yet.
I was about to say, that's pretty high level. That's like that. Yeah.
I unload the milk trucks. All right. No, but like I wasn't talking about like bashing the offense and bashing Aaron Rodgers. I was just saying that, like, dude, like, that whole game, that was even. Like, I think though they lost as a full complete team. And I love LaFleur, but like, you could throw maybe even the coaches in there. I'm not. And it's not bashing. It's just saying it's equal. Like, when you win, it should be that way too. But when you lose, everyone likes to just stab on the defense. And I get it. The run stopping is an issue.
Defense has this like stink on them right now. And like, we're immediately ready to like bust on the defense as soon as we see them do well. And I mean, the reality is the defense got more pressure in that game. I was watching Wayne Larrivee was talking about it. It's the most pressure they've gotten in the game in a while, and since week 1, week 2. So, I don't know. There were a lot of good things. I'm always known as the green shoots man. Like, oh, the green shoots over here and green shoots over here. And like, there were a lot of green shoots to me. But, I think even Nagler was saying how he watched it after and kind of felt that way, how there were so many good takeaways, the no-look pass, Devontae, MVS, like, MVS had a great game except for the fumble. And, like, it's just funny I think I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on Packer Transplants, but, I think the things that Aaron Rodgers has been talking about, you're seeing them play out. And you're seeing how the media can take a narrative that like some fat white guy decided was going to be the narrative, even though like the actual facts of the thing are this over here. And you see that, and then like social media is like, no, we're not allowing that anymore. So I think this is really the first season for Packer fans, in my opinion, where it's not stupid dumbasses like me yelling about beat writers and like media like saying stupid things. Because of COVID, you're seeing this stuff happen in real time, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I put this tweet out this morning that was like, I've been talking about Packers beat writers, not all of them, and this is not a condemnation of everybody, but we've been talking about this. I've been talking about this for years, and people are like, "Oh, shut up, you stupid gatekeeper! You just want to have everybody be a certain way." And it's like, no, I don't think it's fair to players that some asshole gets to put a narrative out there that's untrue, and that becomes the story. It's BS, MVS literally got us to overtime. That's the real story, right? We wouldn't have been in overtime if not for MVS. We would not have had a Devontae Adams touchdown if not for an MVS block. And MVS is having a great season. So it's just funny. Like, it's this classic thing where it's like, there's always going to be this thread that the Packers need to draft a wide receiver. And there's always going to be this thread that MVS sucks until some dickhead in the media decides that he doesn't suck anymore.
Oh yeah. And that is the thing is like, with, like, the defense is they got a bad name, and I get it. They've been run over this season and all that. But once you have that stigma, once you have that bad taste floating around, it's always going to be that. So, like, the Packers didn't score a touchdown in the second half, I believe. And, like, I get it. They balled out in the first half, but you can't ball out in the first half and then not do anything in the second half. Like, you put your defense in a lot of bad situations. And that was my point. It wasn't that, like, screw the offense, Aaron Rodgers, this and that. It was just saying, like, how can you blame just the defense? Special teams had a turnover. Like, it wasn't just one. It was, like, in a few ways, not a lot, in a few ways, remind me of that Seahawks game. When, not and because of the last play and the turnover and all that.
Wait, which Seahawks game? Dude, are you trying to trigger me this week? It's already Bears week, bro.
No, but like,
Matt.
No, but like so many things had to happen for us to lose that game. Like, that game was won. Like, the Packers should have won that game.
True. But literally, Jordy looked at Brandon Bostic and said, "Bro, I got this. Yeah. It's supposed to come to me. Yeah. Leave the ball alone." Okay.
Yeah. No, dude, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. No, I don't compare it that closely. I'm just saying, is like with that game, 13 things I think they said could have happened differently, and then won.
You're 100% right.
And not this game. I don't know if it was 13, but there was a few things that if they happened differently. The Packers, but they lost. Like, I'm not gonna whine about. I'm not gonna have excuses. There was no referees. There was no nothing. They lost the game because they got beat. They made some key mistakes, but it's not all on MVS. And then MVS gets the death threats, and I know a lot of people are talking about. I see people say, "Well, I bet he didn't get death threats. He just wants attention." Like, bro, I have got death threats. You don't have to be
you don't have to be like a celebrity to get a death threat.
Dude, I have been told if I ever come to the Chicago airport, not just Chicago, if I'm just passing through, they'll kill me. The Bear fans, they don't all like, most are cool, but I've had a few people, and it doesn't speak for the whole.
I do not go. Okay, when I'm in Soldier Field, A little tip for you. Do not wear green and gold and go to the bathroom by yourself, okay? Let's just don't do that.
I will never, like, I wouldn't go to a Bears game in Chicago. Like, I don't, first of all, I can't fight. So I feel like if someone attacked me, like, that's just game over. Like, that just happened.
Well, that's why you got to have friends. That's why you got to have friends. I'll go by myself.
I'll try to make some. I'll try to find some. No, but like, I have no doubt that MVS got death threats. Like, were they real? No. Like, the ones that I got, not real. It's probably some 14-year-old kid. But the point is that people did it. And my point with that, I don't want to talk about this too much, but like, Packer fans are good. Like, because I think everyone talks about how great Packer fans are, and I think they are. But like, that is just a few people, and who even knows they're Packer fans. I'm sure they are, because I've talked to Ty Montgomery and Brandon Bostic. I had them both on my podcast.
Yeah,
little flex there. But and they told me some stuff, and like, people, it's not Packer fans, it's people. People are shitty, and people are Packer fans. So it's like, it's not just Packer fans. People, I saw like other fan bases coming out. Oh, Packer fans, dude, shut the hell up. It's not just, dude. I've heard plenty of stories about other teams in the playoffs. A kicker missed a field goal. They had to stay in a hotel because they're burning shit in his front yard. Like, dude, this happens because people are shitty people. And it's
pathetic. It's pathetic that it happened. And look, I mean, I think that you saw his teammates bandy about and rally to his cause and be like, yo, we have your back, on Twitter, on social media, on press conferences. I mean, that's what you want to see, right? And you even saw Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers talked about it. I mean, I have a feeling, I don't know, what is the chip for MVS? What is the thing that gets his blood going, maybe this is it. I mean, he's had a really good season. He's bound to have a couple more breakout games, and he always gives us that deep threat, and he's proven now. I mean, also the PI, like without that defensive pass interference, which was on his guy, we're dead in the water, basically.
Yeah, and like Drew said, not all Packer fans are good. That's what they're not all good. All right. No, they're not all good. But
speaking of that, I'm just gonna grab a beer right here. I can hear you.
All right, grab a beer. We're gonna move on to the Colts, because I don't want to keep talking about this. But yeah, like, dude, MVS is I think he's gonna be great. Like, I don't know. I'm biased. Like, I hope that guys are good, and I think that he has all the tools.
He does
to be good, and he has the support of his teammates, mainly Aaron Rodgers. So like, why would you not think that like he can pull it all together? Like, obviously people give criticism, and I'm cool with that. People think that I think that you should never criticize the Packers ever. Like, no, you can criticize them, just don't tag them. That's what irritates me.
But that's the thing. I mean, we were going to do this thing about trolling, about how, like, I criticize players. I make jokes about the Packers defense at this point, because the Packers defense has become a meme of themselves, right? It's like the whole joke of like, oh my God, if we play 10 yards off, we're playing press coverage, right? Like, it's funny because it's out there in the ether, but that's not, I love my Packers defense. If you start talking shit about the Packers defense, I'm going to not be happy about it, right? So it's like, it's funny because, you kid, you're just like, oh, well, this is the defense we've inherited. At the same time, I'm telling you what, when Z had that sack where his body is like completely sideways, dude, like, there were some amazing defensive plays. Kenny Clark, like, completely took over a couple plays. Rashawn Gary had some, I mean, like, there's so many good things. Jair Alexander, there's so many good things about our defense to take away that, is this the support group meeting? Yeah.
You know what's funny? I tried to click that comment so many times, but it kept moving because people are commenting. But yeah, this is the support group meeting. Like that's what I say, because a lot of people think that, like, I'm like so positive. People say you're a cheerleader, you don't ever say anything bad, but like, I have no problem with someone saying bad. Like, the defense, how they play off is just ridiculous. 3rd and 12, play 15 yards back, like that. That's ridiculous to me. But like, my point is, just don't tag the players. I don't.
No.
After a game, the players don't. Not that they rush to Twitter, but like, as they lay in bed at night, and they, like everyone, they, scroll your shit. They're human. They're doing the same. They don't need to see like you suck, you fumbled, or you're this and that. It's like, to me, it's just stupid. Say what you're gonna say. You don't need to tag them. Definitely don't send them death threats. But I want to talk about the Bears. Are you gonna go grab a new beer?
I did. I already got it.
Holy shit, you're like freaking.
There's a refrigerator right here on the right.
Then why'd you even mention you got to go away and grab a beer? It's right there. Anyways, so
where's your beer?
Wait, I got a beer. They're not even in the refrigerator. I just brought them up because I didn't want to grab my cooler. I'll just drink them fast enough. But let's talk about this Bears. Let's see what people are saying.
All right, what are the people saying?
We got Big B said Nagler. People are excited Nagler's here. he gets more love in the comments than we do on the screen. Yeah. No, but shout out to Aaron Nagler tuning in. But let's talk about the Bears. So it's Bears week. I'm about to do a Bears podcast tomorrow. I was supposed to do it today. Sorry. It didn't happen. No, I'm gonna go on there. That's the thing with Bear fans is like they're pretty cool. Like they can take the shit because they know them. Dude, who's that NFL Network Bears fan?
Why you gotta quiz me?
I forget his name, but there's an NFL Network Bears fan, right?
Yeah.
So I was on his Bears podcast, the same one I'm gonna do tomorrow, and I was on it I think before the season, and he was the previous guest. He's a big time. Everyone knows who he is, verified and all these things. He's on NFL Network. And they're like, yeah, last week we had him on. And they're like, what do you think about him? I'm like, I think he sucks. I don't like him. And they're like, really? And then they didn't know what to do because they're like, that's their guy. That's their guy. And I was like, I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he's a good reporter, but he's a Bears fan. And whenever I see him in a video clip, he's talking shit about the Packers. So to hell with him. And I was like, no disrespect. I was like, I know that's your guy, whatever. But he's a Bears fan. To hell with him. He doesn't follow me.
Yeah, I mean, my probably the person I am most annoyed as a Bears fan is former President Barack Obama. The second person I'm most annoyed as a Bear fan is the MSNBC anchor Chris Hayes.
Adam Rank. I don't mean
Adam Rank. See, I knew that. Yeah. No, I knew that. I knew somebody was going to help you out. I knew there were at least two people watching once Nagler logged off.
No, but it's nothing personal against Adam Rank. And
no, and I like those I like those people, but I don't really want to. I mean, look, Caitlin Sharkey, she used to cover the Packers, she now covers the Bears. I still follow her on Twitter. I think she's a really good follow, but it's super annoying when people that you like that do their job now cover the Bears. You're just like, ugh.
Let me just check out this comment real quick. This guy says, Michael Leon says, I got escorted out of Soldier Field for fighting the night of Cobb's walk-off touchdown. Bears fans are always tripping. Which one, though?
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, wait. There's got to be more to it, because is that he's got to be the one that Aaron Rodgers was talking about today on the show. The one where there was the walk-off and he threw to Cobb to 2013 or 2014.
I'm not even sure.
2016. It's got to be that one. But I want to know what precipitated it. Was there a chirping back during the game that I believe had something to do with the other chirping?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I love the Packers Bear rivalry. Dude, that's how I started doing shit. When I first started doing shit, it was just making Bears Still Suck. The song, I'd dance around a little circle. Bears fans would get mad. But then I realized that a lot of Bear fans started following me, and a lot of them are pretty cool. And
I mean, because they wish they were Packer fans. They wish the Bears were the Packers.
But
I mean, how can you not? You want that city vibe, but you want the Packers to be your team. It's like they want the Giants, but they got the Jets. You know what I mean?
I think that's what it is, because I don't know, the Bears are more they'll go back and forth, but they're pretty cool. Viking fans get so butthurt so fast.
That's because they only have one thing. What else is there to do in Minnesota? Chicago, at least you can be like, you know what? The Bears suck, but I still got Chicago.
We got a cool
pizza. City. It's a cool city. I can go hang out and go to the disco. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. And there's something to do because I'm in Metro. But Minnesota, you're like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Be nice to people?
I know that, dude. I always say Minnesota soft, and I don't know,
man. Ooh.
Yeah, I said, and they don't like that. So, but like growing up, because you grew up in Green Bay, right? Isn't that what you said last time?
I did. I was born here, but no, I grew up in like Appleton, New London. Then my parents moved to Los Angeles.
But yeah, like Wisconsin until you were a certain age.
Wisconsin until I was a certain age, then yeah, West Coast, then East Coast.
So when you were growing up, who was the team that you hated? Because I know a lot of fans. Like I was a Bears.
Oh, always the Bears. I remember. I was gonna say. Literally remember where I was the first time my grandfather played me the Upers. Like I literally am like, oh, and he's like, oh, this is funny, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then, and then, like 2 songs in, they start playing "The Bears Still Suck," and you're like, oh, okay. Wow. And he's like, this is the song. And then I remember like being at Kroll's West, and I was like a teenager, and it was so cold, and we're sitting there, and like my cousin's like in the parking lot of Kroll's West, and we're like getting ready for the game. And then like blaring out of this like Camino, like just like this, like just blaring is "Bears Still Suck." And I'm like, we're playing the Eagles. What's going on?
Dude, that just happened to me like 3 years ago, whatever, 3-4 years ago. I was at an Eagles game at Lambeau Field, and I meant my sister, brought the whole family. We're in like I wouldn't say VIP tailgate, but it was one of those paid tailgate things or whatever, which usually I don't do because I'm poor. But it was one of those tailgate villages things, and it was the Eagles game, and Eagles fans were rowdy. They're like, yo, how Eagles fans are, and I'm waiting to take a pee. There's like 27 people back, and COVID, but so we're waiting.
Everybody I'm on podcast with has COVID the last week and a half. Like that's like I'm only allowed to do podcasts with COVID patients.
So we're waiting there. So we're playing the Eagles, all right, and the Bears Still Suck song comes up, and everyone starts yelling, "Bears still suck." And then Eagles fans are looking, they're all confused. They're like, yo, they're playing the Eagles. Do they know who they're playing? And I was waiting in line, and I was drinking. I was talking with these guys. I was like, dude, like, this is what it is. We don't care about you. You're just the assholes we got to play today. Dude, Bears suck, like, goes through my bones. Like, when I was a neighbor, my best friend was a Bears fan when I was, like, 10 years old. And my parents would not let him in the house on Sundays. The Packers were playing the Bears. Like, he'd even try to come in the house. They'd, like, get him the hell out of here, because if we hear this shit, we're going to knock this kid out, and that's illegal. So, but, like, he would troll us, because the Bears were good back then. I was born in 79. So that had to have been, like, 88, 89, whatever, 90. I remember when I was a kid, 94, they said the killer bees were coming. I was scared out of my mind. So I'm betting it was about 90, 89, 90. So the Bears were always beating the hell out of the Packers. Oh, excuse me. This mic picks up too much, I know. my old
You're like, yo, I got this nice mic now. I got ASMR up in this piece.
Yeah, like all the mics. You see a mic, and like, I know that mic. I know exactly what it does. No, but like when I was growing up, dude, everyone hated the Bears. No one cared about the Vikings. Like, I didn't know the Vikings were a team until 100%. I was like 14. And because when you're a kid and growing up in Wisconsin or anywhere really, you watch your team. You don't know a lot about the NFL. The division guys like the Bears, probably the Vikings I might have known. But like at halftime, you went outside, put your snowsuit on, went and played football. Sometimes you didn't even come back to watch second half because, like, you wanted to play. But I grew up hating the Bears. So like I know a lot of guys, depending on where you live, like even in Wisconsin, it's more Vikings, especially when you were born, because the Vikings, were more competitive. Because of
Favre, and they were more competitive. But yeah, I mean, the Bears, they were that team. Okay, you know how Vikings fans are now with us, where it's their Super Bowl, right? Like when they play the Packers at Lambeau, that's their Super Bowl. You realize that, right?
Oh yeah.
When I was growing up, every time we played the Bears, that was our Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
we weren't going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So literally, the only thing we could hang our hat on was, can we beat the Bears 2 times in 1 year?
Yeah, and that's how it is now for both the for both the Bears and the Vikings, because the Bears, like when they hired Lovie Smith, that was one of the things they said: beat the Packers. Yep. That is your mission. And then after that, we'll see what happens. And like I saw a thing on Twitter where this Vikings fan he named off the top 5 best accomplishments. I don't know if forever.
Yeah, one of them was like ruining Aaron Rodgers' collarbone. Is that right?
There was like 3 of them were the Packers related. It was like beat the Packers in this game. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. It's like, so like they live and breathe around the Packers. The Packers don't live that way. Like, obviously we want to beat the Bears, but like my hatred for the Bears is not Aaron Rodgers' hatred. Like, he doesn't give a shit. It's rivalry, and I'm sure they get pumped up for it and all that. But Aaron Rodgers doesn't give a shit about the Bears like I give a shit about the Bears. Like, even the way, like when we were talking about MVS and all that, like the players got around him. The players have a different agenda than the fans have. They don't have our rivalry hatred. Like, you see them like after they would play the Bears back in Cutler days. Aaron Rodgers and Cutler, they'd go up together. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers just loved that Cutler played for the Bears just because it was easy. But
yeah, it's different. It's the same. It's the same as the media, right? I say this too, right? So many people come because Green Bay is such a small market. So many people come here and they're going to go someplace else, so they're not going to stay here very long. So if you've only been here, and it's not a knock on people that do that. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just you have a different mentality when you're like, you know, I'm 43 and I've had literally the Bears Still Suck song on loop anytime I think of the Chicago Bears since I've been like 8 years old, right? So it's just like I'm like a cult brainwashed fool, right?
Oh yeah, and it's on my song list. Like, if someone's in my truck, we're driving, we could be listening to like DMX or like AC/DC. Like, my music is all over the place. And then all of a sudden Bears Still Suck will come on. And they go to skip it, like, get out of here. You ain't skipping. I will drive through town, windows down in the summer, screaming the Bears Still Suck song out my window. But like, yeah, so dude, this game particularly, like, it's never an easy win. The Bears are obviously down. I think they're 5-5 now. They started off pretty good. And I told everyone the Bears are going to fall off. The Packers are going to go on a run because the Packers schedule obviously got easier and the Bears schedule got harder. And the Packers lost to the Vikings, but then they beat who the hell they beat next? My memory is
the Vikings. You drink too much. How can you remember such things?
I can't remember. But they lost to a team they should have won. And then they beat a team that was, you know, questionable. A lot of people. Oh, the Niners.
Yep.
Because obviously injuries and all that came in.
I mean, the Niners.
I don't know if that was off. I don't know if that was
the Niners. That's your point. Yeah. Like, the Niners had no one. Yep.
Yeah, but the beginning of the
Bears
season,
have no offense though. Like, let's. Oh yeah. I mean, like, you watch that game. Oh my God. The last game they played, it's like they literally have no offense. Where are they going to get their offense from? Like, I think they're going to make our defense look amazing, which I'm really excited about.
So, who is the Bears quarterback this week? that is what I want. That's why I want to go to this Bears podcast so much, because first of all,
is that going to be your first question?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to record them. I'm going to do a podcast of my own. No, but like, I had a Bears fan come at me this week and say, Trubisky's going to own you guys. I was like, is that why he got benched? Because he was owning all these defenses? Dude, if you're, I mean, excuse me, I made a post about it. It might have been a video. I don't even know. But I said, like, if you're going to come at me as a Bears fan coming at a Packer fan, you're not going to start with your running game. You're not going to start with, like, the defense, which Bears have a really solid-ass defense.
Really good defense.
Yeah, but their offense is trash.
It really is.
Their quarterback situation is garbage. Like, if they had a good quarterback, like, if they had, I don't even know who would have been available before the year, but if they'd have went and got Cam Newton even, like, if they had a quarterback that was
Cam Newton would give them a chance, yeah.
Yeah, but like what they have, like Foles, I liked Foles in Philadelphia. I think he was good with, but I think a lot of quarterbacks, it's about that system. And it doesn't matter who, dude, if they'd have brought Cam Newton in, they'd have destroyed his career too. They'd have probably ended it. Because any quarterback, dude, Jay Cutler was so good in Denver. People forget that. You're old like me, all right?
I forgot that.
Yeah,
I totally forgot that. I totally blocked that out, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, he was.
He was like an MVP contender at some point. I don't think he ever won one, but like he was in the talks. Like he was. So when he came to Chicago, I was like, oh shit, like they got a quarterback now. And then he got there and he was like, that Chicago-ness wore off on his body. And then he just went to shit.
I know everybody gives the Vikings coach props, but like Nagy, they got to keep extending all that. They just got to extend all the coaches forever and end of time. I like it.
Because I follow some Bears people on Instagram. Actually, these guys that I'm gonna do a podcast with, I follow a lot of their Bears pages.
Keep saying this, but you're not even pubbing. Who are they? Are they like real Bears fan, or are they like fake Bears fans?
It's the Bear Down Packers, Bear Down podcast, not the Bear Down Packers podcast. It's a Bear Down podcast, and but they all want Nagy gone.
Saying seriously, seriously, the only thing dumber than Bear Down is Skull.
Dude, that's so true. Because Bear Down, I think came. I don't know when it started, but I assume it's because Jay Cutler was always down. Like, and I don't.
Or it's because their mascot, like that's the greatest meme. And like the mascot just falls for it.
That discount double joint.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah, so like of all the Bears, just abominable, just shit against the Packers. What is your favorite Packers Bear moment that has ever happened? There's so many, so it's a tough question.
For me personally, because I was there, and also because of the lore, BJ Raji, okay, NFC Championship game in Soldier Field, one of the coldest games. I believe it's like the third or fourth coldest game in NFL history, and I was at the second coldest game, which is the NFC Championship in Lambeau in 2007. It's just that moment, right, where it's like BJ Raji and like this team, you know, Tremont, Charles Woodson, you know, Jordy, like this team was going to rise up, and you just were like, holy crap, we just did this. And like that interception into the end zone with the you know, dance moves.
Yeah.
So good, man. That's got to be one of the great for my generation or whatever. I guess that's that's a big one.
So
also, you know, we just passed them in the rivalry in our lifetime, which is really like when you think about it over time, the Packers were behind the beginning of basically our lifetime. So the first half of our life, they were ahead in the rivalry, and we overtook them. So that's a generational moment that's really kind of exciting for us, for you and I, in this time right now.
Oh yeah, and I see a lot of Bears fans using that. Well, you just barely passed us. I'm like, yeah, but you were beating the shit out of us.
Yeah, like so far ahead. Like so far ahead. Like before Favre, like it was like 100 games or something. It was like ridiculous. It wasn't 100 games, but it was like it was a lot of games. Yeah.
I don't know, like Favre's record. I forget. Like I was watching a video today. Remember when Brett Favre made that video with the Bears guys outside Soldier Field, and they were kind of it was like a 100-year celebration, kind of a spoof little Saturday Night Live type skit. And I forget, he said the record, but I think he lost like 10 games to the Bears. It was a small amount. I don't know the exact number.
Yeah,
and Rodgers ain't
more
much
wins. Yeah, and they both kind of have a similar win percentage against the Bears. It's definitely over, because that's allowed us to overtake them in the rivalry.
Oh yeah, because we just demolished them with Favre, with Rodgers. Like, I think we beat them with Hundley. Like, you're Rodgers.
What about Rodgers talking shit about TBLS, like finally winning the coin toss?
Oh,
He's like, oh yeah, Tim Boyle finally won the coin toss. I was like, I put on Twitter, I was like, Tim Boyle is really good at winning coin tosses and running victory formation.
Yeah, they're like, you know, Tim Boyle's probably on the sideline, half asleep. They're like, hey, come in. He's like, oh, I get to go in. They're like, yeah, just kneel it. You'll be fine.
I get negative yards. He's gonna have negative yards, I think, for his career.
Yeah, no, Tim Boyle's man. He was on my podcast. I froze up. I don't want to talk about it, but
your podcast froze during Tim Boyle, like live.
You didn't see it, or I didn't tell you about this. So no, it wasn't live. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. But I had Tim Boyle on my podcast, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking, and I'm sober, so it's always harder.
So it wasn't funny.
No, it was a solid pod. So like halfway through, like I'm going through these questions, and then my brain just shut off. And it never happened before. I've had a lot, you know, I wouldn't say a lot, but I've had a few Packer players on my podcast. And I just froze up, and my brain just was like, nope, we're done. And so I was like, and then I think that one was just over the phone, right? So he's just like, what's going on over here? And then I was like, I just froze up, and I'll edit this out. I was like, all right, just give me a second. And he's like, all right. So then he just waits, and like 45 seconds goes by, and I'm like, dude, I got nothing. Like my brain is just like froze. And it's not because I'm nervous of this. I mean,
you just lost all cognitive.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous because I'm always nervous when I talk to Packer players, but it wasn't like, like, oh, I love Tim Boyle, but I was just like, and then I was like, do you have any suggestions? Like, I'm just like lost. I felt so embarrassed. And then he's like, and he starts talking. And I was like, okay, I got it. And he's like, all right. So then I just started going. And I edited it. No one knew until I started telling everybody. But like, I don't care. I'm not even embarrassed by it because, like, dude, it is what it is. Like, I'm not perfect, dude. I'm not a analyst. I'm not a professional. I'm just a Packer fan who gets to talk to cool people, unlike you. But no, but like so
what you're saying is you're not nervous right now at all.
No, I'm not. I'm pretty buzzed up. But I wanna open these notes because I wanna ask you a question.
Oh
there.
Shit, you're gonna open
the
notes.
All right. So the Packers have 6 games left, right?
Mm-hmm.
We play the Bears at home.
Win.
The Eagles at home.
Win.
At the Lions.
Win.
At home versus the Panthers.
Win.
Okay, at home versus the Titans.
Win.
And then at Chicago.
Lose. Don't come at me with Derrick Henry, okay? I'll let that. Don't even try.
No, I've been hearing that a lot lately. No,
that's all they got. That's like, and they ain't Dalvin Cook. Come on.
And like, dude,
Super Bowl.
And like the Packers had to have learned from the Minnesota Vikings situation. Like you would, and LaFleur talked about that. First of all, let's talk about that with Aaron Nagler. I'm sure he's
talking about Mike Pettin.
Yeah, I know.
Remember?
No, but
talking about learning and Mike Pettin, and you're talking about our fan base. And I like Mike Pettin. I don't understand what the hell we're doing, but I'm not. Hey,
I don't get it either. Like, first of all, before I get to that next thing, like, what's the deal? Like, why have we not like learned and adapted? I know that Nagler, he asked a question about this with LaFleur.
About third and long, yeah.
And LaFleur actually gave a good answer. And first of all, it's a great question and a ballsy question because he worded it first of all because like just as like a reporter or whatever, the media guy, he worded it in a way that he asked the question without being disrespectful and not being a douchebag like some of them are. But and LaFleur said like we're looking at that like, and people are like, oh, they're just looking at it now. I'm sure they've been looking at it for a long time, but like now it's like, hey, let's do something here. Like the way the defense is set up a lot of times, it like even in Madden, you're gonna hit triangle like down, Is that the button? I haven't played Madden in a long time.
I mean, my thing is what happens when we start press. Okay, so 2 things on that, right?
All right.
One is what happens when, and this is a theory, okay? This is not like this is a hypothetical, but what happens when we start pressing and our guys get their ankles broke because they get their butt beat?
And then we're like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, now you see why I played 10 yards off, guys. So that, and then the second thing is like, we just don't know what we don't know. That's the inherent problem, right? Like for me, if you take it's really a third thing. If you take the 30,000 foot view that I take, it's really hard in this league to have a really good offense and a really good defense. And everybody's trying to do that right there, right? And if you look, how many teams have a really good offense, right? How many teams have the balance? We just played one this weekend that has some of the best balance in the NFL, right? As far as offense and defense. But you look at the Bears, they're lopsided. You look at the Vikings, they're lopsided, and they're kind of like skewed lopsided. You look at us, and it's like when we take our head out of our ass as an offense, there is no one in this league that can beat us. No one. No one has a defense that can stop our offense on its best day. And that's without Alan Lazard. That's without missing Dylan, right? Like the little pieces, right? And like sometimes you put those other little pieces in and you take a bigger piece away and we still have it. All of a sudden you got Tunyon, Sternberger. I mean, Sternberger had some blocks. Sternberger, MVS blocks, Lazard blocks. I mean, you start to turn this offense on, it is a weapon, right? In my opinion, I think you're always better served by that. And we've seen that over the last 2 decades.
Yeah, I think that Sternberger doesn't get enough love because a lot of the blocks he does, a lot of the stuff he does. But like, I agree. Like, I think that, like,
but you agree that this is the problem. Like, people think you can have both. Show me a team, right? What is a team that you respect? Like, even look at Kansas City playing last night. Look, they probably have like the most balance, but what is a team that you see out there where you're like, man, I wish I had their defense and their offense?
Yeah, and that's what it is, because with the salary cap, you can't have that. But like when
hard, yeah, that's the
like,
hard piece to have both.
If you have like the Packers defense last year and their offense this year at their best, not every game, but like at their best, like, but it just doesn't seem to work that way. Like, you can go back in history and talk about these great teams or whatever, even like Super Bowl 31 team. They had Brett Favre, they had those guys, and the defense was awesome.
I mean, we had Reggie White.
Yeah, but like that doesn't happen like normally.
Like the day we got Reggie White, I can tell you right now, literally every person who's a Packer fan in my family can tell you exactly where they were. Who's older than me, right? Can tell you where they were when we signed Reggie White. That was one of the greatest signings, if not the greatest signing in Packer history, all time. End of story. I mean, the guy had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl back to back.
Yeah,
at the end of the game. Like, we done yet? Okay, let me get another sack. I mean, so and that's what you saw last year. That's what I was so excited about last year personally, was all the pressure we were getting with the Smith brothers. And I think that's where people were a little bit like, what's going on? This, especially like week 2, week 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I feel like in this game, that's kind of the underrated thing, is that we did get pressure. Like Clark, Gary, no one can say Rashawn Gary is a bust right now. The kid is on the ascent, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
he is headhunting, and him and Kenny Clark to me are like the anchors of our front right now.
Oh yeah, and but the thing is, like, people like to talk about Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith, more Preston than Zadarius, how he's not getting pressure. But like I said, it's with Khalil Mack the year before, not last year, the year before when they got him, and he had that amazing year. Rodgers got hurt a little bit here in the first game, and like Khalil Mack went on a clinic. But I was like, dude, he's not going to do that next year. Like, no one can keep that up. If he can, then he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, the best to ever play the game at his position.
I mean, he had a pretty amazing game last week, though.
Oh, yeah, he's still good. I'm not saying that he fell off. But, like, no one can sustain that. And the same thing with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith last year. They're not going to sustain that year after year where they're just, doing all those things. Now, you'd wish for them to get more, but, like, how much is that them and how much is that scheme? And how much is that, like, injuries? And like, how much
Preston Smith in coverage? Like, you're looking and they got a touchdown, and you're like, wait, why is Preston Smith covering that guy in the end zone?
Yeah,
and like, what do you do with that? Like, can you really I don't know. And I understand, like, you have to drop coverages and all this stuff. So, like, we're probably the dumbest 2 people to talk about this. No offense.
Yeah, and I agree. People have asked me about that. They're like, what about, because I'm a Preston Smith guy. Like, I love me some Preston Smith. I went bowling with him. He's my guy. Like, and like, yeah. I love him. And then they're like, well, what about this? And I'll be like, dude, like, I don't know why he's in coverage. Like, and I don't, maybe there's a good reason.
But you don't DM him? Be like, yo, Preston, in this play, why are you in coverage?
No, I don't talk to him about football. I don't dare.
But to your point about Z, though, like, this is what happens on the defense, right? This is why Reggie White was so amazing, is because when you key on Z, right, there's got to be someone to step up. I think on the flip side, you look at Devontae. Devontae is having a Reggie White-like season, if you will, where it doesn't matter what you do, the guy gets open. And I think you're starting to see that from Z this season too. Like, I feel like that game, like, he's one of those players that can take the team on his back, and he knows really well not to do that in the beginning of the season. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There is some veteran stuff that we're not even talking about where it's like, if you're as good as Z, now I'm not saying this in a cocky way, but like if you're a veteran, you're thinking about this. You're like, bro, I got to get to the end. 1 through 8, like that's good, but like I got to get 9 to 16, you know?
Yeah, and I think there's so much more to the game that, like, first of all, that I don't know. A lot of people do. Probably no one listening, but a lot of people. I'm not saying that people listening are idiots. I'm just saying that people who are listening are fans like me. But like, I think that there's so much to this game that people don't get. Like Preston Smith going to coverage, there's got to be a reason. They're like,
any reason.
I gotta believe that right? Patton, like, yep. I don't know. He irritates me, Patton, like. But like
you and I think there's only like 2 people that like Mike Pettin at this point.
But like,
it's really funny because he's got this like stink on him, and I don't think he deserved it, right? But no one can tell you why, right?
I think he should just make a press conference and tell us, like, why the hell are you doing this? And then he would just explain it, like, hey, you idiots. This, you know, he doesn't owe that to us because we're fans, and they're not going to give out their whole game plan or the reasons why they're doing these things. But like people talking about him getting fired, he's not going to get fired in the season. Dude, the Packers on a playoff run. You're not going to fire a defensive coordinator. First of all, when you do that, you're either bringing in an outside guy. So now, what are you expecting to learn new defense during the season? That's not even talkable. They're not even
going to be an interim person, right? It's going to be someone who's already on the team, so you're going to have more of the same.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same shit because they learned from him and he brought them in. Like, it's not like LaFleur brought all multiple pieces. He hired Patton, and then he brought in a bunch of guys to be linebackers, coaches.
To his credit, so Patton was there when LaFleur got there, right? So he made a decision to say, "Hey, I'm going to keep this defensive coordinator." Now, you know, we've speculated on the show. A lot of people thought he was going to make the move over in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
But again, like, how was the defense bad? I personally think by Gutekunst getting the Smith brothers, it really took a lot of the pressure off of Patton, right? Because pass rushers on the front line that can get to the quarterback kind of take the pressure off of the rest of your defense and having like a really good overall defense. So I think LaFleur didn't make that decision to fire him. So now people are like, well, you know, at some point Matt LaFleur is going to want his coaches. Right?
Yeah.
But he's got to have a good reason. Like if they don't go all the way to the Super Bowl, he definitely has a reason to fire Mike Pettin. You know, I think that's pretty obvious based on everything that we've seen. But at the same time, like only Matt LaFleur knows if it's Mike Pettin or his players or his combination or some other factor that is why the defense is the way it is.
And I think that's like so true because first of all, people don't know. Like you could say that about like so many people, like the coaches know what's going on in practice. They know what's going on film. Like we don't know. Like I think I saw a player talk about it, a different team, and he was like talking about people talking shit about him, and he was like, "You don't know my assignment. Like you don't know where I'm supposed to be." And like that's the thing. Like we don't know Preston Smith's assignment. We don't know Savage or whatever player you want to talk about that might have not had a great play.
We can speculate, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that you'll see this a lot in social media, especially with people where some of the people I have a problem with, like you're a whole little. I'm surprised you didn't have the lower third of like, why do people hate you? Part 2.
No, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh, okay. So, so you know, that's kind of my thing. It's like people get so big for their britches that they forget that, like, hey. You're not in the locker room.
Yeah.
Like you didn't talk to coach. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't see all the stuff. And that does inform. Like you can't just look at the all 22 and know what the fuck's going on. There's just no way. You like that?
Dedication to go. No, but like I do want to ask you about that. Because no, and first of all, I agree with everything you said. You don't know. Nobody knows. Unless you're in that locker room. Which I'm not. I tried to get in. They wouldn't let me.
I know. I got. They're letting family in, and I got this groundskeeper uniform I was gonna wear on the show tonight to be like, you think I could get into to Lambeau?
I was gonna ask Preston Smith if he'd pretend I was his brother, but like I feel like they wouldn't believe me.
I mean, it depends on how well you sold it.
No, I could be a cousin. I could be anything. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
want to get to a game. No, but like, let's talk about this. Why do people not like you? All right, part 2. All right, because I
Who
posted.
doesn't like me? So many people like me, though. What do you mean?
Oh no, I think 99% of people like you, but because you're well known, people see you. That we talked about this last time. If people don't see you, they can't hate you. See, I get a little bit of hate, but like you are more seen than me. All right, you do.
I don't know about that,
but like I posted about you, and you're like, "Oh, you couldn't do it solo." I don't know if that was a slight at you.
Well, did you see my response? Or I was like, I'm right here.
Yeah. like,
hi.
But like, I don't know what it is because I see Nagler gets the same thing. I see people they don't absolutely love. Most people do. Like 99.9% of the people love you both. I'm sure. But like, there's always like those haters. Like, dude, I've got haters because like I made that post like I was saying earlier about the offense, and they're like, "Well, he works at a cheese factory." Like, I don't know if that was hate or jokes.
But to me, that's a badge of honor. I think it's honorable. I think it's so Wisconsin, and I think it's respectable as fuck that you work at a cheese factory. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, you work at Cheesehead TV. Yeah, I do. I like it.
I don't love working at a cheese factory, but I'm definitely not ashamed of it because
there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's
and there shouldn't be.
People like, oh, you were just a bartender. It's like, you know what? Like, that's the Midwest also. Like, that's who we are. That's like the heart of America, basically, is working class people. It's why the Green Bay Packers are so beloved over a lot of other teams, because of a lot of what Wisconsin and the Midwest represents. I mean, anybody hating on that, I think, is really dumb too. Like,
well, first of all, like, not to get all serious because we'll bounce off this for real quick, but like anybody who works a job and gets paid, dude, there's no embarrassment. I don't give a shit if you work at a gas station.
Doesn't matter.
Paper. Dude, make your money. But like working at a cheese factory, I'm definitely not like embarrassed of it. Like, I think some people think I should be. Most people think, oh, that's awesome. You work at a cheese factory? But some are like, oh, you only work at a cheese factory. Like, I don't give a shit. But anyways,
also your work isn't what defines you. I think that's the thing about America, that we get so caught up with like, oh, what's your job? And it's like, there's all kinds of things that define you as a person. You know, I would say that, you know, probably what defines you as a person is your hate for the Vikings.
My hate for the Bears, but I hate the Vikings.
But you're more well known. I feel like your Vikings. I feel like because Minnesota fans are so like thirsty. They're so thirsty for content. They're like, oh, people are talking about us, and that's why you're so popular, because you rip on Vikings fans like so good, and people are like, oh my God, this guy is talking about us. He has tens of thousands of followers. Wow, the Vikings are good.
Yo, that's something like my guy here, One Bad Llama. Like, he's been here the whole time. First of all, shout out to One Bad Llama for watching the whole thing. But he's a Vikings fan.
For 57 minutes. He's a Vikings fan?
He's a Vikings fan. Did you not see the comment? Moldy cheese.
But he's still here.
He's still here.
He's watching that moldy cheese get moldy.
No, but that's the thing. Like, that's the thing with the Viking fan, and not him. He's a good person. He's just trolling. He's just having a good time, and I love that shit, dude. I love being trolled. It's he makes like little gifs of me, and he's got like my head on things. I'm falling off cliffs. I'm doing getting run over by cars. Like, it's great. But like that, dude, I love the rivalries. But like the Vikings to me, like, they don't matter. Like, Vikings don't matter. Like, they have nothing. They have a running back, and yeah, they beat us. We beat them. Whatever. But remember, like, coming out of
they beat us in their Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah, and that was a Super Bowl.
They had their Super Bowl.
Yeah, like
they won.
They won the last game of the season. They're gonna hang that flag. We beat the Packers in week whatever the hell, and they don't want to talk about week 1 though, because week 1 they were all coming into the season. I wasn't talking about the Bears so much. I was talking about the Vikings, and Viking fans were like, "We're gonna destroy you. We're gonna go 13-3. We're gonna do this and that." Like, yo, Vikings lost to the freaking Cowboys. Like, what do you think about this? Like, Mike McCarthy, because I love me some Mike McCarthy, all right? I've always have, always will. All right. But like, he was out there smashing watermelons. All right.
I heard about this. Yeah, I heard about this.
Sledgehammer.
I kind of want to do a reenactment of that. We should have done that for the show.
We should do that.
We should have started that for the show. I thought about that because I've always loved that whole bit. But here's the problem with Mike McCarthy. I know you love Mike McCarthy, okay? Here's what I'm asking Packer fans to do.
All right.
Just remember who Mike McCarthy works for. He works for the man and the myth that created the myth and the most bullshit statement you will ever hear in your life, which is America's team.
Dude,
he works for America's team now. Mike McCarthy is fucking dead to me, bro. Now, when Mike McCarthy comes off that ledge and he comes off that America's team ledge, just like when Favre the traitor came back to the fold, now, hey, Favre could literally do anything. He voted for Trump. I don't care. I still love him. He was a traitor at one time, but it don't matter. I don't care about his politics. He is a legend, right? Mike McCarthy is a legend, but right now,
I have to agree with you on this one. No, I like Mike McCarthy. I don't see it as quite the same as that. I hate the Cowboys and all that. But like with Favre, when he played for the Vikings, people ask me this, and this is like I never want to say this publicly because I think it's kind of fucked up. But people said, "What do you think about Favre playing for the Vikings?" I was like, I love Favre. It's kind of like you're this is screwed up. It's kind of like your uncle paid your way through college, but when you were 7, he molested you. Like, because I love Favre. 99% of his shit. It's kind of a messy thing to say. And not to compare him to that at all. But I'm just saying is that you can love someone. Like, I love Favre. Like, my whole life. Dude, Favre could do no wrong. Favre forever. Like, his wife had cancer. Packer fans love the Favre family, and they should. And still, like, Irv Favre and all these stories, you can, pick out any type of story about Favre and his family. And Packer fans love. But when you go to the Vikings, I lost friends on this. Real life friends, because I trolled Favre when he played for the Vikings. He got in that video when he got hitting the balls with the football. Someone threw it to him, he wasn't paying attention, hit him in the nuts, and he went down, and I laughed. I posted it every day. I post this video every day on my Facebook. And they're like, he's an icon, this and that. I was like, yeah, he plays for the Vikings, though. Like, I don't care. Like, dude, I'm convinced, like, if my son would have happened to make it to, like, the NFL, which I've seen him play football, it wasn't going to happen. But if he would have, and he played for the Bears or the Vikings, I'm not sure how I would have felt about it. I mean, I'd have got that money. I'm like, you owe me a little something. But, like, I couldn't root for either of those teams. I'd support my kid, but, like, even Aaron Rodgers, if he went on to play for those teams, while he's at those teams, I would not support him. If he left, I'd be like, all right,
that's kind of how I mean, it's funny. There's podcasts that we did of Packer transplants where, I'm like arguing with Nagler, like, oh no, he got $160 million. He owes it to the state of Wisconsin not to go to another team, blah, 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 blah. It's entertainment.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, to your point, like when Mike McCarthy leaves the Cowboys, okay. But like, the Cowboys suck. I hate the Cowboys.
Dude, first of all, the Cowboys are never going to do nothing. Like, the Cowboys will never do nothing because of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones runs it. I think Mike McCarthy's a good coach. I really do. I get that his shit got stale in Green Bay, and he probably need to revamp it, and he probably did, I would think, and he even talked about it. But, like, how much control does he have? And then he lost his quarterback and all. And
I wonder, like, you know, as someone who, like, when you get your goal, like Mike McCarthy spent his whole time trying to get to the Super Bowl, right? Okay, you get there, and it's like the greats, like Michael Jordan, they find like all these little chips to put on their shoulder, right? And Aaron Rodgers does that really well too, right? He finds all these little nits and like you kind of are like, oh, he holds grudges. No, he's doing that so that he has some fuel, so he has a reason to do that next level and that next level and that next level. Or otherwise it just becomes like the next level instead of becoming like a tangible goal. And I think Mike McCarthy, something happened where, you know, he lost control. To your point, like it got stale, and he forgot that he needed to reset everything and kind of like reset what he wanted to do. But I mean, apparently he spent millions of dollars figuring out what that was, and here's what you get in Dallas, right?
No, but I think like what you said about putting a chip on your shoulder, I think that the Colts linebacker, how he made a statement, because Aaron Rodgers said this certain linebacker, I forget exactly what he said, was one of the best in the league. So he took a offense to it, and everyone's like, oh, he's this and that. Like, I think he's just trying to make a chip. Aaron Rodgers never played against him, and he mentioned on the Pat McAfee show, I think that player was just trying to give himself a little extra, like, I'm going to play Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't respect me, and they talked, whatever. But I think everyone in the NFL, I think, is trying to get that won a championship, is trying to get a chip on their shoulder. That like Brady does it all the time. Remember the Patriots? They'd be like won the Super Bowl like two out of 3 years, and then they'd come back. They don't respect us. Like, dude, everyone respects you.
It's everyone's Super Bowl when they play you. Like, how do you keep it going? Yeah, it's really...
So they would always try to get this, like, they don't think we're good. Like, everyone knows you're the best. You win the Super Bowl like 3 out of every 10 Super Bowl, or whatever it was. Like, it was like an insane amount. Anyway.
Well, and it's funny to that point about Aaron Rodgers today, where Aaron Rodgers was saying, he said this thing about the no-look pass and how because he plays for the Packers, that the media wouldn't show it. I thought that was really good. I mean, like, dude, Aaron Rodgers' talking points and my talking points over the decade about how small the market is in Green Bay and how we are treated by these quote-unquote national media. It's like those days, like, I know we're digressing. I do want to say one thing about everybody's pointing at that Mark Daniels comment from the beat reporters.
Yeah.
But like, there was someone who no one is talking about. Like, they allowed Rob Reichel to ask a question on Sunday. And Rob Reichel is the same guy who wrote this article headline: Aaron Rodgers' latest stinker reminds everyone why the Green Bay Packers drafted Jordan Love. So they let that asshole ask a question. They let anybody ask questions over there at 1265. It's really funny.
Yeah. So the thing with Mark Daniels, like I, no disrespect, but I don't know him. Like, I don't.
No one
follow him. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
He's on Cover 2 with Jason Wilde. He's on WBAY, which is Chris Roth's show, on WBAY Green Bay with Jason Wilde and Rob Demoski. So it's typically the three of them. He's on WNFL, which is radio that has 2 stations, an AM and an FM. It's very weird station out of PA. Says a lot of weird stuff. You know, it's small market in a small market.
So do you know him?
I do not know him personally. He's literally asked, between him and Bill Huber, to me and personally, they are neck and neck with who asked the worst questions for literally the last like 5 years.
Yeah, like, cause like my thing, cause I don't want to shit on guys, but like what he tweeted and like I won't apologize, and then 24 hours later he apologizes. To me, it's like
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, because he tweeted like, I'm not going to apologize. This is what I think, this and that. And then he ended up apologizing. So obviously people above him said, you better apologize.
Yeah, funny how that works. Funny how you, to me what's funny, dude, is when people realize they're part of the entertainment complex. And what really blows me away is when it takes someone in their 60s to realize that, oh, hey, people are paying attention and they're not going to put up with your bullshit.
Well, yeah, because like I didn't have any respect for him because I didn't know him. But like from here on out, like anything he says, because someone said that he's the one that asked a question, because obviously he asked that question.
So you remember when Aaron Rodgers? Yes, yeah. He asked about how do you live with. But remember when Aaron Rodgers had the Pat McAfee show about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it was the whole media blow up thing. I think you and I had our show that same day, the first time we did the first time we did the show together, and it was literally always about a Mark Daniels question, because the way he asked the question is, one, disrespectful, has no context, is completely unprofessional to start, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like usually like, how are you going to live with the guy? Now yes, I'm going to talk about this on Transplants tomorrow, but again, it's the alternate narratives and how we allow ourselves, how the threads can go this way despite the truth being this way. And that's something that happens that everybody complains about. And then people are like, oh, well, you're just bitching about the media. And it's like, no, we have to see these things because they're just going to keep perpetuating themselves.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I have no problem with the media. I actually am like, I try not to talk shit about the media because I get that they have a job. But like when you're just a total asshole, and you're not because like Nagler when he asked that question about, I forgot what we were talking about earlier, but like he asked a question a certain way, so like it's a tough question, but not disrespectful. Like if you're in that position, like you're on the radio, you're whatever the hell you are. Like, that's why they don't have guys like me in there. I wouldn't ask a shitty question, but I'd ask a stupid question, probably too nice. Like, how is it being the best coach ever? Like,
well, I mean, you see what happens when like I ask questions. I'm asking coach about like, hey, what was the commercial like working with David? I'm like asking about like what, like not personal, but like professional things that are fun, right?
Oh yeah, that's what
you know, so I don't know that. That's what I would do. I remember the first time I was in the press room for the Green Bay Packers, and I was literally so in shock and awe that I was sitting there with my little camera. I'm like looking at Nagler. It was during shareholders for like about maybe 8 years ago, shareholders that they have, and they allowed us in, and I'm just like freaking out, and I'm like, and I'm like thinking of what I'm gonna ask Ted Thompson, and I'm like, dude, you're not gonna ask Ted Thompson anything. Just shut the up and sit down and just like enjoy the moment and just like, dude, just let Nagler ask the question and shut up.
Yeah, and then that's kind of, I've had a few Packer players on, and all my questions are solved, and I tell them that. Like, dude, I'm not trying to be ESPN. I'm not trying to get to some story. No one's like going to be quoting a rambling Matt Raman show. Like, it's just fun, like, as a fan. But we have anyways, we're just gonna. No, hey, let's just.
What were you gonna say? We have a lot of what?
We have a long ass question here. I was gonna read it, but like that's a long ass question.
Well, read it. You can't read?
I don't know.
Is it not good?
I don't think he's being nice. But anyways, first of all, Billy Watts, that was a joke. It's not that serious. I wasn't. Anyways, he's mad.
Oh.
But anyways, appreciate you coming on. Packers transplants.
Tomorrow night. Are you going to watch it for the first time tomorrow night?
I will watch it. What time's it on?
At least I'm waiting for okay, so we have to have one start of the show where you say, how the fuck do you pronounce your name? That's I know I've made it when that happens. And you're like, oh, I'm on Matt. Okay, yeah, hey, how the fuck do you say your name?
I actually know your name because I know someone that has the same last name, Behnke. So
no, I know. I just want the Westendorf treatment.
Yeah, well, if I didn't know someone that had your last name, you'd get the same thing. I'd be like, hey, what's up, Corey Behnke?
No, tomorrow night, live, 5:00 Central
on Cheesehead TV,
YouTube, Facebook,
Cheesehead TV, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, I have to pee so damn bad. All right, it's always good talking to Corey Behnke from Cheesehead TV. It's been a good talk. Check him out, Cheesehead TV, Packers Transplant, Twitter. Follow him and all those things. All right, go Pack, go baby.
Go Pack, go baby.